pea. No, guys, you don't taste it in your lettuce. Lettuce tastes perfectly fine. But this is amazing. Biochar has made a difference in so many gardens. And it is not something that is new. Whenever they pea, I collect it. Might sound gross, but this is one of the things that contribute to the amazing vegetables that are grown in the garden. We'll be discussing biochar today. This is charcoal, and I have this here for a reason. It is a form of biochar as well, but I'll go into details regarding the differences. My name is Mary. If you're new here, this is our container garden in which we grow a lot of food, and we must find ingenious ways to grow those successfully because we cannot afford to fail. We have challenges, but for the most part, we cannot afford to fail because this is what feed our family. Now, what is biochar? Biochar is any organic material, whether it be wood, it could be human waste, it could be animal manure, it could be even soil. Whatever organic material that is placed on the extreme heat and burnt with little or no oxygen until it's left with just a carbonate, high carbon substance. Usually it is black, and it has very little uh, fertilizing properties, but that is what is left after the moisture is removed due to the extreme heat that the material is placed on. Usually it's a kiln that is used to produce biochar and charcoal, all of those substances. The charcoal in itself, this has very little nutritional value to be added to your garden. This is a facilitator of nutrients provided by other fertilizers. And I'm going to show you 3 ways in which you can inoculate your biochar or your charcoal to provide substance to your garden. But first, I need to clarify a few things before heading into this video so it is clear. So in my last charcoal video, I posted the charcoal and ways in which I use it to enhance the fertilization in my containers in my garden. And quite a few of you mentioned that what I did was called biochar. Charcoal and biochar, they're two. Charcoal is a form of biochar. The difference is charcoal is burnt wood. Biochar, that is a substance that can be produced by any other organic material that is burned to produce that carbonate. Usually they are black, that high carbon substance, but it does not necessarily mean that it is burnt wood. That is a difference. So the charcoal is from burnt wood. Biochar is from burnt wood, burnt chicken manure, cow dung, horse manure, anything like that, paper, cardboard. Once it is burnt under very, very low oxygen, high temperatures, then the product, the byproduct of whatever those materials are, is referred to as biochar. Some of you also made reference to ash, saying that if ash produces nutrients, charcoal also produce nutrients to the soil. No, it does not. Very little nutrients, if any, is in charcoal. Ash, however, is the powdery substance that is produced after burning wood or any other material. Anything basically can be burned down to ash if exposed to oxygen. So oxygen is what allows it to burn out to the powdery substance called ash. Now, ash contains potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and a host of other beneficial nutrients to your soil. So charcoal is the facilitator of those nutrients if combined properly, but it has very little, if any, nutrients to add to your soil. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to be using charcoal as my biochar for today, I'm going to be showing you 3 different ways in which you can inoculate your charcoal or supercharge your biochar in order to provide long-term nutrients to your soil and produce amazing vegetables for yourself and your family and even to sell. So let's just jump into this quickly. Now, right here, this is a tub that I had callaloo and stuff planted in. At present, I'm using it for my compost pile. And in here, I have food scraps. I have dry leaves, soil, manure, all of that organic material I have here breaking down to repurpose in my garden. Now, one way to inoculate your biochar or to supercharge it is to place small pieces in your compost pile. So all you do is this size is perfect or smaller. What happens is charcoal, when burnt, or biochar, whenever the moisture is removed from the material, what is left are air pockets in in the charcoal or the biochar, and so it provides a perfect surface to be inoculated by whatever organism or good bacteria that is present in your compost pile. So today I'm going to share with you 2 dry methods and 1 wet. I probably can add a bonus as well, or 1 dry and 2 wet. I think I'll do that for today and leave the other for another video. So what you do is in your compost pile, you add your charcoal. Fine pieces like these or even smaller in the compost pile. You just add it, cover it. Now I have an open compost bin right here. So the sun will come, burn, the rain will come and wet it. It has a proper drainage system underneath, and so it is exposed to the element, and so whenever the compost material get wet, those charcoal will soak up all of the nutrients. What that does is when you add this compost after everything is broken down and you add that compost to your container, to your bed, the charcoal will be present in there. When you water your beds and the water leaches, the fertilizer that you put in your soil leaches out with the water, the charcoal clings, the nutrients clings onto the charcoal and have that nutrient ready and available to your plants, to the root of your plants. And so you'll have lovely vegetable growing even with a lot of watering, a lot of rain. That charcoal in the compost that you plant your crops in, it will keep the nutrients readily available to your plants. So that's the first way you can inoculate your charcoal, by just adding them to your compost pile and have them soak up that nutrients. Now if you are like me, you are impatient and composting take a little while, especially if it is not that hot, or if it just take, in my opinion, composting take a little while. How I get around that in order to get my charcoal to use quickly is to use compost tea, and that is what I always have in my garden in my little stinky bottle or buckets right over here. And what I will do, or what you can do, is to pour, ensure you have your charcoal in a container with drainage, just like you would plant your vegetables. You have proper drainage in that container. Take some of your compost tea and pour over the charcoal. Some will drain out, but that is fine. You just need to know that you wet the charcoal, and you can probably wet it with the compost tea maybe 2 times for the week and allow it to sit there. You don't want too much of a drain hole. You want moisture to be retained, but you want the charcoal to be, or the biochar to be properly inoculated with that composted material with all of those good nutrients, and so it will provide that. So here is my stinky water, guys. This is not pleasant. some things that are good aren't pleasant, and this is one of them. So what you do, you place your charcoal in your container and pour, um, you want to pour that compost tea onto your charcoal, just like so, and allow it to soak up that goodness. Once that is properly inoculated, in the same way you would add the charcoal to the compost, then you'd add this to your container in that same matter, in that same manner. Once this is properly inoculated, and I'll give it about 2 weeks or so to allow it to properly soak up all of that nutrients. It's gonna dry out, and then you pour some more. It will probably dry. You can cover it as well, as long as there is drainage in there to keep those bacteria alive. In You want to keep the organisms in your compost alive. Believe it or not, it might not look alive, but it is very much alive, and that is why you'll see bubbles, and it will be warm and seem acidic. It's because there are good things taking place in your compost tea. And then after 2 weeks or so, you add the biochar to your soil and plant away. You can use it to top dress your containers or your garden bed, and it will make such a difference in the vegetables that you grow. It's unbelievable. Trust me, don't take my word for it. Give it a shot for yourself and let me know how it works out for you. There is one other powerful fertilizer that I add to my biochar or charcoal to supercharge it in order to keep my soil living and fertile for a very, very, very long time. Right here, these are my rabbits. Now, if I sit here long enough, you will see where they poo and where they pee. So having rabbits, you observe them. Where my rabbits drink their water, right here, they pee, and where they eat their food, they poo. And so I'm able to capture both waste. Now, rabbit urine is extremely nutritious for your garden. But guess what? It is hot. Unlike the manure that I can use immediately, the manure is a cold manure, meaning the acidity is low in the manure, but the pee, it is extremely acidic, and so it will burn your crops. No, urine in general can be used to charge your biochar or charcoal. Human urine, goat urine, rabbit, cow, any urine at all, the urea is good both as a fertilizer and pesticide. I'll go into pesticide with the urine in a different video, but for this one, we're going to concentrate on the urine as a fertilizer. Now, whenever they pee, I collect it. Might sound gross, but this is one of the things that contribute to the amazing vegetables that are grown in the garden. And so, let me show you how we use this one. Now, because this thing is so strong, for this one, I would recommend that you store it in a bottle for a couple of months at least before using it. This thing is going to spray probably like a soda when you open it. So I'm going to pour it, because I don't want to pour it on my fingers. I'll pour it off camera. You pour it in a bottle, preferably glass. If you have plastic, you can. A lot of persons so very iffy about plastic. And so you can do that and place it to cure for a bit. And then after it has cured, my son just brought me the cure stuff. This is another thing that it smells horrible. And what you do is basically the same as with the liquid manure, the liquid fertilizer. The manure tea can be used as well. The compost tea, you basically inoculate the charcoal the same way with the rabbit urine, just like so, guys, just like so, and have it sit for a couple of weeks, and then you use that to fertilize your plant. You use it to top dress, you use it to mulch, you use it to prepare your soil to plant, and that will make your soil, it will make the difference in your garden, guys. Trust me, it will make the difference. Now, the rabbit urine, you can also dilute it 1 to 10 and use it to water your vegetables as well. I think that is what is currently on these right here. See how beautiful these lettuce look? These were fertilized with the rabbit, diluted rabbit pee. No, guys, you don't taste it in your lettuce. Lettuce tastes perfectly fine. But this is amazing. Biochar has made a difference in so many gardens, and it is not something that is new. This is something that dated way back before our time, guys. Ancient days, farmers use biochar in the garden without even knowing the science behind it. They just know that it worked and they use it and it did well, and their crops produce amazing. So it is something that we want to kind of revive in the gardening sector. And so the reason for me sharing, because it has worked for my garden and I'm sure it will work for your gardens too. I truly hope that this video was helpful to someone. And just to recap what I said earlier in the video regarding the ash and the difference between the ash and the charcoal is burnt. Usually it is in a coal kiln. We use a traditional coal kiln in the country to make charcoal. So it is burnt wood under very low to no oxygen, and then it leaves this rich dark black substance. This is literally a chunk of carbon right here. What ash is when you reignite this and it burns out to a powdery white substance, usually a grayish substance. That is the ash, and that is what contains a lot of nutrients to be used in your garden. That has to be used in moderation as well, because it does affect the pH of your soil. I'll go into that in details in another video, hopefully soon. And so that's the difference. This has very little nutrients, if any. Ash is rich in nutrients. Biochar is burnt. Any organic material burnt or placed under very, very high temperature, removing all of the moisture, leaving a carbonated substance. The difference is it can be manure, it can be human waste, it can be cardboard, it can be leaves, anything like that that is burnt under very, very high temperature, leaving a carbonated substance, and that then can be used to facilitate the nutrients found in your other fertilizers, whether it be organic homemade fertilizer that I use or store-bought, or even the synthetic fertilizers, because somebody is buying those. They're being manufactured and somebody is buying them. And so even for those fertilizers, the charcoal will facilitate pulling those into the soil for a longer period of time. I hope I made sense in this video, and I want to thank you so very much for joining me here in the garden. I appreciate you all so very much. If there are any questions that you have, please leave them in the comments. If there are any videos you'd like me to work on for you, please leave them in the comments as well. If there are any recommendation you have for me, if I left out anything that you want to add, because other persons read the comments as well, please drop a line in the comments for us to let us all grow food together, right, guys? Thank you so very much. If you're watching and you've not yet subscribed, please press that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post another video. Please remember to like and leave your comments and share the videos, guys. It's important to share the videos. Please do share so others can benefit from this information as well. Thank you, guys, and take care.